All right. So I'm just going to go over this with you guys real quick. It's not difficult, but it can be a little bit of a mind twister. So if you look at the top, it says understanding supply and demand. Below is the demand schedule for jelly-filled donuts. People are willing to and able to buy at various prices. And then below that on the right side is a supply schedule of jelly-filled donuts that producers are willing to sell at various prices given a period of time, right? So if you look at that, if the price per donut is 60 cents, then only 100 people are going to be willing to buy it at that price because that's kind of a high-priced donut. I don't think it is, but whenever they made this sheet, it must have been a high-priced donut. So anyway, so if they're 50 cents, however, 50 more people are willing to buy it. So that's 150. If they lower the price even more to 40 cents, 200 people are willing to buy the donut. If they're 30 cents, 250, and if they're 20 cents, 300 people, right? So when the price goes down, what happens to the demand? It goes up, right? More people are willing to buy it because it's less money and they're happy about that. The higher the price, the demand goes down, right? Went from 300 to 100, depending on the price. So that's from the demand side of the schedule. The supply side is the person who's making the donut. So let's just say I am a donut store and I'm going to make donuts based on how much I think I can sell them for. So if I think I can sell them for 60 cents each and people are willing to buy them, right, then I'm going to produce 300 of them. I'm going to produce a lot because if people are going to spend 6 cents and they're willing to do that, I'm going to try and sell as many as I can. So I'm going to make sure the supply is high. So as price is up, so also my supply is going to go up because I'm going to try and produce as many as I can. However, if I can only sell them for 50 cents and maybe I'm not going to be as aggressive, I'm only going to make 250 of them because I don't want to lose money. And if they're 40 cents, well, I'm not going to sell that many for 40 cents. It isn't really worth it to me. I'm not going to make very much per donut at 40 cents, once you minus my cost. So I'm only going to do 200. And if you notice, the lower that they can sell for, the less willing I, as the producer, are willing to make them, right? So if they're only going to sell for 20 cents, then I might as well only make 100 of them. It isn't worth it for me to make 300 of them because I'm not going to make my money back, right? So based on those two schedules, and anyone can chime in here, even you online, as prices decrease, what happens to the quantity demanded? This would be the left schedule. So as prices decrease, what happens to the quantity demanded?
It increases.
It goes up.
What's that? Say again, online?
It goes up.
Yeah, it goes up. So just circle increase on your sheet here. It increases. All right, as prices increase, what happens to the quantity demanded by people? Anybody?
Decreases.
It decreases. Yeah, why? Because, well, less people are going to want to buy it at the high price. Or excuse me, more people are going to buy it. Sorry, it's going to increase because the price is a lot cheaper. Sorry, I got myself confused there. So as prices increase, goes up to 6 cents, then the quantity demanded is going to be as prices increase, the quantity demanded is going to decrease. Okay, so increase is the answer to the first one. Decrease is the answer to the second question. Third question, as prices decrease, what happens to the quantity supplied?
Decrease.
Well, if you look at the right schedule, what happens when the price decreases? So also does the quantity, right? So basically, supply side goes directly parallel to the price. So if it goes down, then the demand goes down. If the price goes up, then the supply goes down. If the price goes up, the supply also goes up. So prices decrease. What happens to the quantity supplied? It decreases. As supply increases, price increases, what happens to the quantity supplied? It increases as well. So just remember, supply side always goes in accordance with the price. Price is up, supply up. Price is down, demand down. On the supply down. I keep saying the wrong thing. On the other side, demand side, it's always the opposite of the price. So if the price goes down, demand goes up. If price goes up, demand goes down, right? So supply side, they're both the same. Demand side, they're opposite. Just remember that. All right, question number 5. At what price will the quantity of people willing to buy, quantity demanded, be equal to the quantity that the suppliers are willing to sell? Quantity supplied. At what point? Anybody know?
40 cents.
40 cents, right? Because at 40 cents, 200 people are willing to buy it, and the producer is willing to produce 200, right? So that's what we call what? Equilibrium, right? It's where the two come together and they fit. So that's number 6. The price where quantity demanded meets quantity supplied is called equilibrium. So now I want you to graph this out on the chart. So I'll do it for you here, but you guys should also do it on your paper. So we're going to do a, hopefully the people online can see me doing this. So I'm going to call this one price, and I'm going to call this one quantity. All right, and then we're going to make some little hash marks here. So we're going to make some hash marks here. And the lowest price that's on our chart is 20 cents, right? So we'll do that there. 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents. And then the quantities that we are given start at 100, and then 150, and then 200, 250, 300, 350, 400. All right. So based on this little demand schedule, we'll start with demand schedule. It's saying that if we charge 60 cents per donut, we will get 100 quantity, people buying them, right? So I'm going to put a little dot there. And then I'm going to do the same thing for 50 cents for 150. So I'm going to put another dot here. And then at 30 cents, or excuse me, at 40 cents, 200 people would be willing to buy. So I'm going to put my little mark there. And then at 30 cents, 250 people, so somewhere around here. And then at 20 cents, we can get up to 300 supplied. So this is where I plotted on the little graph my demand line, right? So if I just connect all that, I say, okay, here's my demand line. So as prices go down, demand or quantity goes up. So this is what I call my demand. Now on the supply side, if I go to that graph or chart, I'm going to graph that one as well. So in this case, at 60 cents, the producer was willing to make up to 300 of those, right? So my dot's going to come somewhere out here, right? So there's my 60 cents. I'm going to, my supply, I'm going to provide 300 donuts. If I could sell them for 60 cents, I mean, that's worth it to me. However, if they lower the price to 50 cents, I'm not going to make as many. I'm only going to do 250. So we're going to put that dot right here. And then at 40 cents, only 200. So that's here. At 30 cents, it's only going to be 150. So we're going to go like right here. And then at 20 cents, I mean, I'm not going to make any money. So I'm just going to make 100 to make a few of my customers happy. So this is what you might call your supply curve, right? And then what's right in the middle here?
Equilibrium.
Where the two cross. All right, so there's my equilibrium. So I plotted that out on the chart. Hopefully those of you at home can see that. Yeah, you can. All right, so go to the next page. All right, so the question then is asked is number 8, if the price of a donut is 50 cents, will there be a shortage or a surplus? So if they charge 50 cents for the donut, would there be a shortage or a surplus? Anybody want to tell me? There will be a surplus. Why is that?
More than they're selling.
Right. So because the producer thought I could do 250, right? But really, how many are they selling? Only 150, right? If you look at both charts. So if you have 50 cents, the demand is only going to be 150, but yet I produce 250. So therefore, I have a surplus. I have more. There's going to be more available when you raise the price. However, the next question asks, if the price of a donut is 20 cents, will there be a shortage or a surplus?
Shortage.
Yes, if I'm 20, I mean, I'm only going to make 100. However, at 20 cents, 300 people are willing to buy it. So I'm going to run out, right? I'm going to run out really quick because the producer only made 100, but I have 300 people willing to buy that donut at 20 cents. So we're going to have a shortage. So the first one's a surplus, next one's a shortage. All right, based on the following circumstances, will there be an increase in demand? This is the demand side for jelly donuts, or a decrease in demand of jelly donuts based on these other circumstances. So if the number of consumers increase, in other words, there's more people to buy donuts, what's going to happen to the demand for donuts? More people means what? More people. I mean, just think of it logically, right? Let's just say you're having a bake sale, and you only have 50 people that showed up this Sunday, right? So you made, let's just say you made 100 donuts or whatever, and 50 people showed up, and you were kind of disappointed that 50 people only showed up. So next week you only make 50 donuts, and guess what? 500 people show up. So what's going to happen?
You're gonna have a shortage.
The demand is going to increase, right? Number of consumers increases, then your demand is going to increase. More people, more customers. The consumer's income decreases. Oh, we just went into a recession, and you decided to do your bake sale again, and you made a bunch of donuts, and a bunch of people at the local factory all just got laid off. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen to the demand? Are people going to want donuts?
No.
No, it's going to decrease, right? Because they're like, hey, I don't have any money to buy a donut now. I don't care what price they are. I just lost my job. I got to save every penny until I can figure out when I get my unemployment. All right, jelly donuts become the most popular snack ever. All of a sudden, they're hugely popular. What happens to demand?
Increase.
Goes up, right? Yeah, more people. I'm looking for a donut shop. When I was a kid, there was donut shops everywhere. Now, you still have the regular one, the Winchells and the Dunkin' and all that, but now you have these little mom and pop shops opening up, making like specialty donuts, and all of a sudden they're taking off and becoming very popular. And so, somebody my age might go to Winchells or Dunkin' Donuts, but somebody your age you're looking for the mom and pop shop that has those specialty donuts with bacon and all that other stuff on them, So that demand goes up, right? The cost of fruit pastry increases. So now it costs a lot more to make the donuts. It costs a lot more to make them. That means that they're going to be more expensive. So what's going to happen to demand? It's going to decrease. Yeah. Costs more to make, costs more to buy. Supply demand is going to go down. Or the cost of coffee served with the donuts increases all of a sudden to $10 a cup. Well, I used to only pay $2 for that coffee. Now it's $10. So it's going to cost me $12 to buy 2 donuts and a coffee. I mean, that's expensive, right? So what's going to happen to demand for donuts?
Decrease.
It's going to go down, right? Because the coffee just ruined it for the donut. How about the number of consumers decreases? In other words, there's just less people to buy. What's going to happen to demand?
Decrease.
It's going to go down. Yeah, less demand means less people means less demand. The cost of cherry strudel decreases. It gets really inexpensive to make my donuts. So that means my price is going to be lower. That means my demand is going to increase. Yeah, remember opposite. Whatever my price does, the demand does the opposite. So if my price is cheaper, then my demand goes up.
I have a
All right.
question.
Yeah.
I missed number 8 and 9. What were the answers to those ones? Because I was doing my table and it looks real messy since I'm doing it on Word.
That's right. It says if a donut is 50 cents, will there be a shortage or surplus? Well, if you look at the two charts and you look at what is demanded at 50 cents is only 150. But if you look what would be supplied at 50 cents as 250, then what are you going to have? If only 150 people want to buy it, but you have 250, what are you going to have? A surplus or a shortage?
A surplus.
You're going to have a surplus, yep. And then the other thing is, the same thing is true for the next question, except the opposite. If a donut is 20 cents, then according to my schedule, 300 people are going to want to buy it at 20 cents. However, the supply will only be 100. So what am I going to end up having? With 300 people want to buy 100 donuts, I'm going to have a shortage.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, number 12. Oh, sorry, number 11. On all the examples above will result, circle the correct answer, a movement along the demand curve or a shift in the demand curve. Now, you're not going to know this until we plot it out, but it's going to be a shift in the demand curve. It's going to shift a certain direction, and I'll do that in a minute. And then number 12, based on the following circumstances, there'll be an increase in the supply of jelly donuts or a decrease in supply of jelly donuts. Circle the correct answer. So if the cost of sugar, flour, and jelly increases, right, from the supply side now, I'm the one making those donuts, it's going to cost me more to make the donut, right? So that means I have to charge a higher price for the donut. However, in that case, logically speaking, the supply of jelly donuts would decrease, right? Because I mean, if it costs me more to make, then my profit margins are smaller, so it's going to decrease. A new machine is invented that produces donuts a lot faster. So now I can make the donuts a lot cheaper than I used to make them, which means my profit margins are going to be higher. So what would happen to my supply?
Increase.
It would increase, yeah, because I can make them faster and I can charge more. Or not charge more, but make more money. Workers in the donut factory became less productive. So my workers got really slow at making donuts. And so what's going to happen to my supply? Well, they can't meet the demand, right? So it's going to decrease. Government passes policies that state that all donuts meet certain requirements. So now I have all of a sudden a bunch of new government regulations on my donut making. What's going to happen to my supply? It's going to decrease, right? Because I have to now comply to all these new regulations. Number E, all donut factories must pay more taxes. What's that? It's going to decrease. Factory workers become more productive. They can knock those things out really fast. I now can supply more. So it's going to increase. And then donut factories are given a subsidy from the government. So the government is now giving me money to make donuts. So what's going to happen? Well, then I'm going to make more donuts, right? All right. So all the examples above will result in, circle the correct answer. It's going to be a shift in the supply curve. And I'm going to show you that in a second here. So what they want you to do in this last section is they want you to plot a new thing. So according to question 14, we're almost done. There's an increase in consumer income, thus a change in the demand. So in other words, they made more money. The people are making more money. They all got a raise. So there's a change in the demand for jelly donuts. Graph the new demand for the donuts on the same graph that you did. So this one we'll call D1. So now they're willing to pay a little bit more. So for instance, if there's 60 cents rather than being only 100 available, now there's 150 demand for them. So I'm going to go ahead and put my dot right there at 60 cents and 150. And I'm going to do the same thing, 50 cents for 200. And then I'm going to do another line at 40 cents and 250. So somewhere in here. And then 30 cents for 300. And then now 300 at 20 cents. I mean, there's 350 people want to buy them now versus 300 before. So this is now my new demand curve based on a higher income that I now get. So we'll call that D1. And so because of this rise in consumer income, there is a shift in the demand curve. The demand curve has shifted to the what? The right or the left? It went to the right. It was here before, now it's there, right? So it shifted to the right. And now the new equilibrium is right there. It's actually for 45 cents. It's not showing you that, but it's about 45 cents. All right, and then it says to do the same thing for the supply side. So now at 60 cents, because people are willing to pay more, or willing to pay more with less profit, I'm actually going to make a little less than I was before. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to plot that all the way. So 50 people will do 200. That's probably right here. That's what it's saying. And then 4150 is 40, sorry. Figure where I'm at. 100 would be 30, and then 20 would be way down here. So here's my new supply curve. This is called S1. And now my new equilibrium is actually 50 cents. I was wrong on that. It's not here.
This is for the S1, right?
Yes, this is S1. See, so what happened? Did my supply curve move to the right or to the left? Shifted to the left. All right, last page. At the new supply and demand, jelly-filled donuts will efficiently sell for what amount? The new equilibrium, 50 cents. Right? You guys all got that? So I've just plotted the equilibrium again where the two lines cross. That's the sweet spot. All right. At the new supply and demand of jelly-filled donuts, if the price is set for 60 cents, so will there be a shortage or will there be a surplus? So again, if at 60 cents, we have 150 people that want to buy them, but the producer made 250, is it going to be a surplus or a shortage? It's going to be a surplus at 60 cents. However, if the new supply and demand of jelly-filled donuts, if the price is set at 40 cents, will there be a shortage, surplus, or equilibrium? So at 40 cents, we have 250 people willing to buy them, but the supplier only supplied 150. So what's going to happen? There's going to be a shortage, right? Correct. All right. There is a couple of questions that have to do with supply and demand, very potentially ending up on your quiz or exam at the end of this session. So that's why I wanted to go over that, but it's important for you to know that. This is all we're going to talk about with economics. We're pretty much done. I didn't get into corporate social responsibility, but I will